All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Chris Crenshaw, and we are live from the 704 once again for episode 217 of the 815 Exchange. And well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a hectic weekend. All right, it has been a very hectic weekend with me. I was at Breakaway Festival pretty much every single evening, literally Friday, Saturday. Not today, though, not today. But yeah, I had a great time. Met some friends, saw some friends I hadn't seen in a while that I missed. Yeah, had a great time. Had a great time. But we're back to business. All right, we're back to business on this Sunday. Of course, you guys see this Monday, of course. And boy, oh boy, WNBA Playoffs. We're going to talk about that. It's the last day of the MLB regular season. All right, we got stuff to talk about there. And of course, kicking us off in college football. These young freshman receivers are out of control. All right, it's getting out of hand. And we got a lot of people to talk about in the Heisman Watch. Also in the NFL, boy, it's been a while. That 1 o'clock really hurt some of y'all. I'm not going to lie. That 1 o'clock really hurt some of y'all, and the Cowboys finally won a game, so I don't have to crash out this week, so God bless. But we will talk about that all in due time. But for now, as always, remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. And as always, all right, everything you're looking for can be found in my description. All right, timestamps also embedded in the video and my social medias if you want to follow me there. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get straight to business, all right? CFB, college football, okay? We're starting off on, what was this, Friday? Friday night football has been kind of hitting, I'm not going to lie. And not just for, high school. I'm talking about college. Because we went to the U. The U took on VT. And, well, it's a bit of a sticky one, yeah? Because Cam Ward, who had a very up and down first half, came back with a vengeance in the second half. He hits Torrey Horton on that go-ahead, and you're thinking, okay, Miami's got it, it's in the bag, they're okay. Which we learned was not the case at all. Through this game and what happened in Alabama, Georgia, apparently going up ahead with 2 minutes or 1 minute to go, however long, just the last minutes of the game, it's not safe. All right, it was not safe this week. Because Kyron Drones fires it up down the field. There is just a mob of players, and Virginia Tech seemingly catches the Hail Mary to win the game, but Miami kind of strips it at the end, and then the refs go take a look at it. We'll say they took a look at it, and they roll it incomplete, or I think they just rolled it incomplete or not an interception. So yeah, Miami gets the win 38-34. They survived this game. For all intents and purposes. And Cam played a great game, by the way. Kept up his Heisman, candidacy. He had 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. 2 picks, though. But still, 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. All right, Cam played a great game. He looked very, very good. Still had some things where it was like, he could have played. Obviously, he could have played better. But still, played a very, very good game. But I'm not going to lie to you. Miami got away with one. All right, Miami got away with one. Okay, ACC refs, I think, handed them this a little bit, to say the least. And yeah, they survived. And now they get college game day against Cal, which, again, still feels weird than the ACC. But yeah, Miami survives. I do have to give a shout out to Tootin for Virginia Tech, former North Carolina A&T running back. He had 141 on a touchdown. He was toting that thing. But unfortunately, luck favors the U, and Miami, survives a massive scare versus Virginia Tech, and maybe they shouldn't have. Let's talk about USC, because, man, I was ready to crash out. We're not crashing out about the Cowboys this week, but I was about to crash out about USC, because that first half was horrible. It was horrible. I was cursing Elijah Page's name. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I was cursing his name. I was disgusted. And it was right before I was about to go to day 2 of the festival. People had started coming over, the LT had come over. I was, I should have been in a great mood. But I was watching my team get busted. But, I don't know what Lincoln said. I don't know what Lincoln said in that second half. Maybe the same thing Kirby Smart said to Georgia. But, hey, it worked. Because we had 28 unanswered points out of halftime, and USC is able to get it done versus Wisconsin 38-21. Miller, the killer. I love my quarterback. 308, 4 touchdowns, and a pick for Miller Moss. Bad pick, but otherwise, Miller, just another gutsy, tough game. Dude can just, his accuracy, man. Besides that one interception. But his accuracy. His arm talent. I think a lot of people weren't expecting after seeing Caleb's obviously near generational arm talent. Didn't expect to probably see that out of Miller, but Miller's arm talent is it's really like raised the profile, and I think really kind of pushing him up draft boards. And just his toughness and the way he's moved. It doesn't feel like it feels like we have another elite quarterback in Lamar Moss, and that's a great feeling to have. Which of course, credit to his development, credit to him for sticking it out, and of course, credit to Lincoln Riley for being the quarterback whisperer. But Miller, the killer, came through for us. But I do have to talk about Jacoby Lane. I do. I know Zach Branch gets the headlines because he's supposed to be the superstar. He's the speedster, baby cheetah. But Jacoby Lane is giving me Drake London vibes. All right, Jacoby Lane is giving me Drake London vibes because it's another big body receiver that seemingly flips every 50-50 ball to like a 70-30 and makes some outrageous catches. I love it. I love it. I have the utmost confidence. If the ball's going Eight's way, I'm like, yeah, Jacoby's probably coming down with it. It's so calm. It's so calm. He's made some outrageous catches. Made some outrageous catches in this game. He had 10 receptions, 105, and 2 touchdowns. But yeah, a lot of people expected Branch to kind of take that jump. He didn't play a great game, by the way, on Saturday. But Lane, he's been that guy. All right, he's been that guy, and I definitely think he's going to be one of the most underrated receivers this year. And one to watch as we go forward. But yeah, USC fight on. Mason Cobb back healthy, pick 6 to really put the game away. So yeah, USC survives, but it was not pretty. All right, it was not pretty. Speaking of USC, Jackson Dart, former USC quarterback, of course, now known for his time at Ole Miss, and of course, Ole Miss coming with a lot of hype. They've got their own very underrated. Just honestly, he's a superstar. Let's be real. Trey Harris, 11 receptions, 176 and a touchdown. You're thinking, oh my goodness, we good. Ole Miss must have got it done. No, ladies and gentlemen, we learned about why field goal kicking is so important. And it felt like Ole Miss was sleepwalking. It felt like they didn't have that same Ole Miss throughout this season. It seems like they've bought into their own hype. And with that, they were playing with some juice. This game against Kentucky, it felt like they were sleepwalking. And they just let Kentucky linger and linger and linger and just never flip the switch. And then when they tried, they couldn't. Kentucky had shut it off. They'd hidden it. There was nowhere to find the switch. And Kentucky, what do you know? They get it done 20-17 and pull off probably the biggest upset of the week. Brock Vandagriff goes 243 and a touchdown. Dane Key, though, 8 receptions, 105 and a touchdown. Octavian Oxendine has to be one of the hardest names in college football, by the way. He had 3 sacks. He was a monster. He was all over Jax. And yeah, Ole Miss just could not flip the switch. Shout to UK, though. They get it done. They made the right play, especially late, to put themselves in this position to win this game and put this away. And like I said, Mississippi, sleep at the wheel. Kansas State is not. All right, Kansas State is very much so not asleep at the wheel currently. They are very much so in command. All right, they were not. What happened last week, not happening again. Yeah, Avery goes 319 and 5 touchdowns. This was the full Avery Johnson effect. And it was a little bit back and forth early on, but then Kansas State said, yeah, no, we done with that. And what did I say? And you know what? Oklahoma State did a good job of getting Ollie involved early on in this game when it was like neck and neck. But the issue, and it's going to be the reoccurring issue, and it's a question I have to pose to you because you might also share it. How in your 7th year of college football, your 10th year of college football, your 35th year and you're ready for pension year of college football, Alan Bowman, how have you not picked up anything? How are you still, at your old age of 43 years old, a bad college football player? How are you still a bad quarterback? It's amazing. You've played for all of these you got all these degrees, and you still haven't figured out how to play QB. And that is going to be the limitation on Oklahoma State. That is the thing that's going to hold this team back. More than any coaching, more than, defense, more than anything is the fact that nobody, Alan Bowman doesn't put the fear of God into anybody. Nobody. Teams are licking their lips, licking their fingers. Panting, waiting to play Oklahoma State at this point. Because, nobody fears Bowman. He throws 2 picks in this game. Very costly picks. Stribling still has 7 receptions, 157, and a touchdown, right? The weekly receiver that, gets it done. Wasn't Brandon Presley this week. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because nobody fears Bowman. And he's not the guy that makes his team go. Ollie does. But unfortunately, the pass game's got to set up the run game. The run game's got to set up the pass game. And if they can't run, and the only guy we really worry about is Ollie, and we can just shut that down and make you try to beat us with Allen Bowman, we going to be fine. That's what teams have figured out. We are going to be fine. If Oklahoma State has to pass to beat us, we are going to be just fine. And Kansas State is a good team. They're a good team. You saw what Avery did. All right, emerging star. DJ Giddings got off in this game. 187 on his touchdown. All right, Kansas State handled business. Very, very good team. All right, had that loss 2 weeks ago, but back in business. All right, they're back in business. Oklahoma State is in free fall. All right, simply put, they're in free fall. Notre Dame took on Louisville this week in one of the ranked matchups of the week. Did not get a lot of promo for this one, though. But, yeah, Notre Dame does get it done, 31-24. Very big win. Very, very big win. All right, that Northern Illinois loss is lingering, and it's not aging well. But Notre Dame does get the win here against a ranked opponent, against Louisville. You'll take that. Riley Leonard finally looked like Riley Leonard again. So, yeah, he got 3 touchdowns. So, yeah, I mean, you'll take that. Xavier Watts got a pick from Louisville in this game. So, yeah, things looking up. Things looking up for Notre Dame. We'll see if they can keep the momentum going. All right, let's talk about it, though. Let's talk about it. This is the game. All right, this is the game of the segment. Potentially game of the year, honestly. Alabama versus Georgia. All right, $50 billion. If you were a recruit in the South, you were at this game probably, it seemed, with all 100. And they had basketball. Again, I'm seeing a lot of, not that this is new, but I'm seeing a lot of, like, basketball recruits at football games now. I'm seeing a lot of those visits being used, which is interesting. Or maybe they just haven't publicized that. I know it's not new. But, yeah, I'm seeing that. AJ Davensa at this game. And unlike Carolina, who the bad, and they lost to Duke again this week. But, yeah, Alabama wasn't going out like that. In fact, it was 30-7 at half. 30-7 at halftime. I was in disbelief. I was in disbelief about what I was being texted. I was of what I was watching, of what I was looking at. I was in disbelief. I thought I heard all this stuff about Carson Beck. All of this stuff about Carson Beck, and he's QB1, and he's a Heisman contender, and I never quite understood it. I'm not going to lie to you. I never quite understood it. He just never, he failed the aura test. Simply put, he fails the aura test. He just doesn't have it. He just doesn't have it. He's solid, but people were acting like he was some type of a star. I was, a little bit confused on, but I was like, okay, maybe he's going to make the jump. You know who didn't make the jump? And I gave him a lot of flack last year, but he's made those strides. You know who is a star? You know who is a Heisman contender? Yeah, that guy that plays for Alabama. His name is Georgia fans are really, really familiar now. 491, 4 touchdowns, and just 1 interception for the man they call Jalen Milroe. Yeah, he let everybody know. He let everybody know on Saturday. 27 for 33, 374, and 2 touchdowns. He also had 117 and 2 touchdowns on the ground. He looked like he plays on, honestly, college football 25 aged so well this weekend. I mean, aged like bliss this weekend. Because he's broken on this game. And he was broken in real life. All right? And he was breaking down Georgia. Breaking them down. I got to give Milroe his flowers because I was very critical. And he was not a very good quarterback early on last year. But at some point, he flipped the switch, and he's just gotten better and better and better every single week, and he's now a great quarterback. He's a great college quarterback. So, yeah, I got to give Milroe his credit. I got to give him his flowers. He's a Heisman contender. But that, of course, is not the headlining thing, though. Milroe was great last day, and I just gave him his flowers. But he's not who everybody's talking about, of course. That would be the 17-year-old from Sarlin, Alabama. Yes. That would be Ryan Williams. Because you see, let's set the scene here. 231, Carson Beck does, besides throwing 3 picks, he did throw 3 touchdowns. He does find Bell. Georgia goes up. 2 minutes and 31 seconds. They make the comeback all the way back. And they're celebrating. They're up in arms. They felt the 2-point, though. But, they're celebrating. Oh, we got him. We got you. Ha, ha, ha. We're going to pull off the win. We're finally going to beat Alabama. And then on the first play from scrimmage, Milroe dials it up. He goes to Ryan Williams, who makes a great catch. and then hits a move you can't even hit on the game. All right, I can't even pull it off. This like stutter step spin move. And Dan Jackson, who by the way played a very solid game besides this, had a pick in this game as well. But he's got that entire secondary, lauded secondary of Georgia missing. All right, word to Chris move, they needed a map, and Ryan Williams turned on the wheels, and Hollywood was singing. Touchdown, and Bama takes the lead back, and they didn't give it back because Carson Beck threw another interception. So yes, Ryan Williams, of course, is the headliner today. He also had that insane bobbled catch. He had 6 receptions, 117 and a touchdown. He's looking generational. This is he's legitimately supposed to be in high school right now. And he's now terrorizing collegiate DBs. He looks like the next one. I mean, he's not the only freshman receiver who looks like the next one, but he definitely looks like the next one. All right, Williams, Hollywood looks like a monster. He was a monster in this game and has quickly emerged. And that was one of the things that really hampered Alabama last year was the fact that they had Isaiah Bond, and Bond has become a very good player. He's great at Texas, but he wasn't a true number one. Respectfully, he wasn't a true number one. Alabama was lacking that guy that we had seen throughout the dynasty. They had that guy, whether it was Julio, Jerry, and then they had Devontae, Jerry, and Ruggs, and Waddle all at like the same time or something crazy. So, yeah, they just always had that receiver, that elite receiver. They didn't have that these past 2 years. They didn't have it. No, they had many guys try to step up, but they just didn't have it. They didn't. Ryan Williams is that guy. He's the next one. So, yeah, it's making a world of difference, especially with Milroe playing the way he is. So, yeah, that is huge for Alabama. And, yeah, Williams, special talent. Deontay Lawson was a menace in this game. Got to give a shout out to him. For Georgia, though, Arian Smith did have 6 receptions, 132 and a touchdown. Dylan Bell, who I said caught that, go-ahead touchdown, had 5 receptions, 100, and, of course, the touchdown I mentioned. But it was not enough. It was not enough, ladies and gentlemen. And the tide is rolling and should be the number 1 team in the country, respectively, Texas. Penn State. All right, the Long Boys got it done. Another ranked matchup. All right, the last ranked matchup of the week. Penn State gets it done 21-7. Wasn't pretty, but they got it done. All right, Long Boys really carried the load today. Kitron Allen had 102 and a touchdown. However, that defense, boy, oh boy, that defense for Penn State was special. Outmeyer's turnovers were killers. He got sacked 7 times, though. Abdul Carter is everything they say he is. I want to say that. Abdul Carter is everything they say he is. All right, the boy is a problem. 7 tackles, 2 sacks, 4 TFLs. He was a monster. All right, he looked like arguably the best linebacker in the country yesterday against Illinois. And yeah, of course, Penn State has a history of guys that are the best linebacker in the country. But Penn State looked very, very good. Allard didn't play great, but, it didn't matter. Got a good win. Defense showed up and got a ranked win. So, you'll take it. All right, you'll take it. I think it was the whiteout as well. So, yeah, congrats to P-State. They move on. They stay undefeated. Stay dangerous. And to end off the segment very, very quickly, all right, Colorado is now 4-1, so haters be aware. Travis is hitting the Heisman, and I think he should be winning it currently. Another great receiving day, and he had an insane interception, which he did strike the post too. Ashton Janetti had 259 and 4 touchdowns. He also needs to be going to New York. He is clearly, and I mean so clearly, so blatantly, the best running back in the country. The only question, like I said, though, is how close is he to being Trav and beating him for being the best player in the country? Arch Manning cooked up against Mississippi State. He had 3 touchdowns, 300 yards, looked very, very good. I haven't seen a Manning with this much swag. So, yeah, we will see. But, of course, don't worry. This is still Quinn's team. And, ladies and gentlemen, the freshman receivers are taking over. J.J. Smith went off, all right, for Ohio State. But for now, that's college football. All right, now for the WNBA. Yes, it's playoff time, ladies and gentlemen. It's playoff time in the W. Quickly going through the end of this I'm going to be honest. Even though it was chalk, so very chalk, okay? Super chalky. I'm not going to lie to you. The most chalk possible. All right, the most chalk possible ending to the first round. But, we still got some things to talk about. Because of what happened already today, and I'll update that, I'll quickly go through setting up the first of the semifinals, I guess technically. Final 4 here in the WNBA. My neighbor currently I'm not even gonna cut this out, is revving. I don't know if that's his car or his motorcycle. I'm not sure. But anyways, all right, the Liberty took on the Dream. They got it done 91-82. Sabrina Ionescu. Yeah, 36, all right, and 9. You know, a lot of talk about who's the best point guard in the world, actually. Everybody mentioning the Rookie of the Year, who we're going to talk about in a few. And Sabrina, you know what, said, you know what, I'm still Sabrina Ionescu, so let's, okay, don't forget. Don't forget. And it's the reason why the Liberty are currently the favorites to win the title. But we will see. We will see. We'll watch something to talk about, like I said, very, very soon. But Jonquel Jones also had 20 and 13. Alicia Gray did have 26. But like I said, Liberty dust off the Dream in 2 games. The Aces did the same with the Storm. 82-76. Kelsey Plum went off for 29. The MVP, the unanimous MVP as well, Asia Wilson goes from 24-13. Gabby did have 20. I wish she'd played the full season though. But the Aces, of course, defending champions going for the 3-peat. No surprise there. However, we do get the Liberty and the Aces, which normally would be the NBA, a lot of people would expect. A lot of people expected, as the 2 quote-unquote super teams in the league to be the WNBA Finals, but it's here in the semis. All right, here we are. The Liberty, however, get it done here in Game 1. All right, they win 87-70. Yeah, 87-77. Stewie. And listen, I feel like Stewie's been quiet for a while. Stewie's supposed to be the number 2 player in the world, actually, behind Asia. And, I feel like she's been overshadowed by the different stars that have emerged throughout the season. And even on her own team a little bit with the play of Sab at certain points. And Jonquel, haven't heard as much from Stewie this year. But, you heard a lot about her in this game. 34 points for Stewie against the defensive, Fee won defensive player. We're going to talk about Fee too. But yeah, Brianna, 34. Sab had 21 in this game. And like I said, the Aces go down, okay? This is the most mortal they felt in a very, very long time. They did not have a great season for their standards. Though they still end up finishing 27-13, but still, for what we expected, the dominance of the Aces, the Liberty were that dominant. They lived up to expectation and maybe even surpassed it. So, a little bit of a statement here in Game 1 that, nothing's changed. Asia had 21, 6, and 5, but like I said, it wasn't enough. Kelsey did have 24. Jackie had 17, but it was very efficient. She was also minus 13. The point guard was nowhere to be found, though. I'm not going to lie to you. Chelsea Gray has to play better. She has to play better. She has been, dealing with injuries this year, did not have a great season, and she did not have a great Game 1. So, yeah, they're going to need her to get going and be back to normal Chelsea greatness, or this is going to be a very, very long series, or maybe a very short series, should I say, for the Aces, and that will be the end of the 3-peat. But we will see. But for now, Liberty got it going, all right? The other semi, who's it going to be? It's exactly what we expect, all right? The Kinetic Sun do end Caitlin Clark's rookie season, 87-81 in 2 games. Kate still had 23, 6, and 9. Aaliyah had 16 and 19. Brought them back. Hit a crazy game tire, but it felt like every time they got close to some, were able to pull away. And unfortunately, even though Kelsey Mitchell was great, especially towards the end of the season, she was very costly in this game, especially towards the end of the game. It feels like she just kind of went into like D-Lo mode and tried to be more than she is and sold. All right, I don't like to put it on one player, but Kelsey Mitchell sold this game. To be blunt, okay? It's not completely her fault. There was many other chances for the Fever to win this game, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. All right, Kelsey Mitchell sold this game. It was bad. All right, it was pretty bad and gave the Sun enough to get it done. Shout out to Dejoyna, or Dejanay, excuse me. She did give it most improved player, but yeah. Fever had chances. They'll be fine. Then they kind of surpassed expectation. They weren't supposed to be here, but they were. Caitlin had, again, probably, one of the, actually not probably. She had one of the greatest rookie seasons. I'm not going to say she had the greatest. That goes to Candace Parker, who won MVP as a rookie, but one of, top 3, top 5 rookie seasons in the history of the, sport. So, credit where credit's due. It's going to be weird not seeing Caitlin play for a championship, like I said last week, but, we kind of all saw that coming. And the Sun are the better team. They've been the better team against the Fever pretty much the entire season. So, yeah, they move on. They will be playing later tonight against the Minnesota Lynx. And, of course, the number 3 player in the world currently, Nafisa Collier, who just won Defensive Player of the Year. But it wasn't her defense that got it done and sent DT to retirement. No. It was her 42, tying a playoff record. All right, 42 points for Fee, 101 to 88. They beat the Mercury. Nafisa Collier has been on one the entire season. I feel like we've talked about her the entire season, and it's been, Fee drops 30, Fee has 5 blocks, Fee drops 30, Fee has 10, whatever, She's been on fire, phenomenal. Like I said, really separated herself. If it's Asia, then Stewie, then you gotta have Fee at 3, and maybe even Fee should be 2. Then again, Stewie went off today, so I gotta give her her credit. But Fee has definitely been a superstar. She's been a superstar. She is that focal point. Probably the best player the Lynx. Not probably. Straight up, I'm gonna say it. She's the best player the Lynx have had since, of course, Maya retired. So yeah, and she's been that caliber of player, been that caliber of superstar. It's gonna be very interesting to see what they do against the Sun tonight and in this series. But we'll talk about that next week. For the rest, TV, music, entertainment. You know what it is. All right, welcome. TV, of course, we got Industry. I think the season finale tonight. We also have the Penguin going on. So, yeah, we'll do some cliff notes for that next week. But I did watch the Mr. McMahon doc. I did. I actually have one episode to go, but I already have my thoughts. So, it's cool. A lot of people wanted it to be... It's kind of weird. It seems like the people close to Vince are like, it's a slam piece. I think Pritchard actually says that in the last episode as well. But the people that are like wrestling fans are like, they didn't go hard enough. It's very interesting. And I saw a lot of people talking about how it kind of feels like a history of the WWE, which it does. But also, that's Vince's life. And I think that was one of the big takeaways from this. And we kind of knew this. If you follow wrestling, you kind of knew this. And I think Heyman had my favorite quote from the entire doc when he was like, Vince McMahon has had one monogamous relationship his entire life. It's been to the WWE. That's the only thing he loves. He loves his family. He loves his wife, right, in ways. He loves the wrestlers, a lot of the top guys, right, Triple H, Cena, Hogan, even though he has a love-hate with Hogan, Bret, Shawn, right? He loves them, but there is nothing that comes before the WWE. There's nothing he loves. That is his life force. That is why he lives, is for the WWE. He loves it. That's the only thing he truly, truly loves, in my opinion. And yeah, it was, honestly, he's a psychologist's dream, honestly, Vince. Very interesting. Very interesting. He's not this, like, cartoonishly, he's done horrible things, though. I'm not going to lie, that statute of limitations line was crazy. If I did it, that's a crazy thing to say. And almost like an admission of guilt. I don't think he's like this cartoonish like monster, though I'm sure people would say he's a monster, and it would be sometimes justified with some of his actions. But I think it's almost in a way like a Frankenstein situation. It's like he grew up with one of the worst upbringings horrible. His mother sexually assaulted him. His dad, his biological dad, who he ends up idolizing when he finally comes back in his life, right, was a deadbeat. Because he was running the WWE. Alright, Vince Sr. was a deadbeat. And then his stepdaddy was beating the brakes off of him. So it's like Vince grew up in this like horrible condition. This horrible, poor, just the worst. Alright? And to survive, he had to wire himself. He had to become something to get out of that. He had to gain that ruthlessness. He's had to become a fighter. He had to gain this, sick competitive. He had to. And honestly, I don't think, as crazy as it sounds, I don't think if Vince wasn't the way that he is, he would have been able to reach the heights that he did in his life. I don't think he would have been nearly as successful if he wasn't, unfortunately, who he is. He's a very complicated character, is what I learned. A very, very complicated character. Not that anything I just said kind of releases him from his crimes, his sins, but I understand, in a way. I understand how he became what he is and kind of how he operates. Because, yeah, it's just the worst upbringing. And it made him what he is. It made him what he is. And then he made the WWE and he changed a lot of lives, but he also made a lot of lives worse. So, yeah, I would highly recommend it. I thought it was a very, very good doc. I'm going to finish that episode probably tomorrow because I'll probably watch, like I said, Industry and the Penguins episodes tonight on HBO. But Very, very good doc, Mr. McMahon. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, a very interesting character study. And yeah, go watch it. Six-parter. Very good stuff on Netflix. Music this week. All right, we have Timeless finally dropping officially. The Weeknd and Playboi Carti. This has been highly anticipated since they performed it overseas in that concert in Europe. So yeah, a lot of expectations for this, and it was very, very good. All right, we already heard the song, so we knew it was good. But yeah, I like this much better than Dancing in the Rain, which I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know if it's gonna be in the playlist. Alright, I'm really kind of tiring of that song already. So I don't know if it's going to stay in the playlist. It might get deleted. But Timeless, very, very good. Cardi did his thing. Bell did his thing. Good stuff. I prefer if this is more of the direction of the album. Tommy Richman dropped Coyote, and I am going to give this a 6.8, which is probably one of the lowest scores I've ever given. But I just, I think it's just my taste with Tommy. He had some good stuff. Temptations was great. Temptations was great, and I re-listened to it in full, properly. The songs that I did like. And you know what? I won't even give it a 6.8. I won't give it a rating, alright, because I didn't listen to it properly. But it's not anywhere close to me and my album of the year. It's not really anywhere close to being one of my favorite albums. It's okay. Off of my first listen, it was okay, but like I said, Temptations was a standout. Certain tracks I feel like work for him, and then other tracks it just doesn't work for his style. But I get what he's trying to do. But it just, me personally, it feels like he's going to be better as this like feature artist for me. All right, I think that's where Tommy will be best. But yeah, Coyote dropped. You can go check it out, listen for yourself, get your own opinion. But it was okay for me. Alright, it was simply alright, nothing special. But there are some standout songs on there, so yeah, you can feel free to check those out. As I said earlier, ladies and gentlemen, as we have reached the NFL, I don't have to crash out this week because the Dallas Cowboys won a game. But DeMarcus Lawrence got injured, and Micah got injured, and Malik Neighbors got a concussion. So, who really won this game? Who really won this game? Now, the score will say the Dallas Cowboys, but like I said, who really won this game? All right. However, with that said, we still needed to win this. Okay, this was a must-win. In week 4, we had a must-win game because that's how bad it's been of a season so far for the Cowboys. Which are we really surprised with what we did in free? Wow, did we even have a free agency? I still don't think Jerry knows what a free agency is anymore. I think the dementia comes out. Or whatever. All right, but the Cowboys get the win 21-15. Dak goes 22 for 27, 221 and 2 touchdowns. Very, very efficient day for Dak Prescott. Brandon Butter Aubrey continues to be the best player on this team, though. Don't get it messed up. He had a 60-yarder. He had a 40-yarder. He is my sweet, sweet angel, my king. If I could get a Cowboys jersey, it would be Brandon Aubrey's. Okay? That's all I need to say. Neighbors, by the way, had 12 receptions, 115, staying in that Rookie of the Year race. Don't know if he's going to miss next week with that concussion. Thursday might be beneficial for him in this case, but we will see. But yeah, Cowboys are able to hold on and get the win versus the Giants. But both teams take very, very heavy losses. The New York Jets, once again, I mean, were they ever a serious team? But I'm going to say it. The New York Jets are not a serious team. Once again, the New York Jets are not a serious football team. This is not a serious organization. They are not. I am never, ever taking this organization or this team. I'm never taking them. I'm never believing into the hype again. This is not a serious team. Okay? They lost 10-9 at home to the Denver Broncos. Now, that defense is incredible, all right? Shout out to the Broncos defense. They've done a great job revitalizing that and building that thing up. They had 5 sacks of Aaron Rodgers in this game. Of course, that secondary with people like PS2 are just, they cooking, okay? They cooking. But with that said, this is not a serious team. Missed field goals, interceptions, just random turnovers, just the most chaotic, dumb things that could potentially happen to an offense. They're not a serious football team. Bar Tom Brady coming and blessing this team, which he would never do, ever. This is not a serious football team. I just can't. I can't. How do you lose? The Broncos put up 10 points. 10. You were at home. I know it wasn't great conditions, but you were at home to the Broncos with Bo Nix. Your health. I got nothing, bro. Jets fans, I'm so sorry. As they say, it can always be worse. It can always be worse. The Minnesota Vikings, however, on the flip side of that, nothing can be better right now than being a Minnesota Viking fan. You know, once upon a time long ago, Aaron Rodgers would be like, you own you. You know, he would be telling, you know, when he was a Packer and not a Jet, he'd be telling the other NFC North teams that he owned them. You know, most famously the Bears, but the Vikings got it too. Don't you worry. Now, it's a little bit different. You know, Jordan Love decided to wear that Brett Favre jersey as, you know, Favre came out and said he had Parkinson's. And you know what? He played like Favre. Not good Favre, though. No. He played like old Favre. Bad Favre. Yeah. 389, 4 touchdowns, and 3 picks is the greatest Brett Favre imitation I could potentially ever have or come up with you today. I mean, it's the best one. Truly played like Favre. Unfortunately, Sam Darnold is still playing like USC Sam Darnold. 275 and 3 touchdowns for Sam. Jetta's had, was that 685 and a touchdown. Welcome back, Jordan Addison. He had a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. And once again, the Minnesota Vikings are still undefeated after knocking down another quality opponent. Byron Murphy went crazy. All right, he had a forced fumble in this game. He had 2 pass deflections, 7 tackles, and a pick. I mean, he's going to be haunting Jordan Love's nightmares for a while. Probably till the next time they play them, which he might do it again at this rate because that's just how good the Vikings have been this year. They have been great. It doesn't feel like a fluke anymore. It doesn't feel like, oh, yo, they're just hot right now. This feels like a team that's got some juice. Now, they let the Packers back in this one, okay? I will say that. They let the Packers back into this. Because this was even worse for Jordan Love. He got a lot of that 4 touchdowns back in that second half when they made that run. But for all intents and purposes, the Vikings are looking like one of the best teams in the league and dominated this game. Okay? For the most part, they dominated this game. I will say, though, Jadon Reed had 7 receptions, 139 and a touchdown. Wicks had 2 touchdowns to go at 5 and 78. But, like I said, Sam Darnold, Jetta's, Addison's back. That defense is rolling. Vikings looking dangerous, man. Looking very, very dangerous. The Falcons walk off the Saints, who have now fully come back down to earth. All right, welcome back, Saints. Y'all were up there in the skies. Thought y'all might be the Vikings. You know, y'all blew out the Cowboys, and, you know, it was like, uh-oh. Derek Carr, the Saints, AK-41. He ain't never left, but he really back. Let's calm down. Calm down. Who walks him off after Kamara went the go-ahead from 1 yard out with 1 minute to go? But Kirk Cousins said, that's all I need. All right, that's all I need. Gets him down the field. And Koo, like I said, with a career-long 58-yarder to walk off the Saints, who have come back down to earth. All right, they have come back down to earth. Welcome back. I don't think they're a bad team. I don't think they're going to be, like, really bad. But, you know, the Saints are not. They were looking elite for the first 2 weeks. But, you know, let's relax now. All right, this is what they are. You know, nothing more, nothing less. They're going to be playing some 500 ball, have some good moments, but nothing too crazy. Falcons get it done. You know, there are a few things that can really make my day, like the Eagles getting bum rushed. And, you know, there are a few things. I mean, few things than the Eagles just getting dominated. And you know what? I didn't expect it. I thought the Eagles were dangerous. But now... Philly fans, welcome to 2 and 2, baby. Welcome to the 2 and 2 club. There's drinks in the back, refreshments over on the side. Welcome. Come on, welcome over. You also got blown out by an NFC North team, an NFC South team. Yeah, it was the Saints for us. It was the Bucks this week for y'all. Yeah, Baker Mayfield beat the brakes off these boys. Okay, simply put, smoked them. 33-16. This game was never in doubt for the Bucks. I mean, never in doubt. They went up 24-0 before the Eagles finally remembered that they were playing a football game today. Baker goes 347 and 2 touchdowns. Bucky Irving also gets in the box. Mike Evans, again, is Mike Evans, so he had 8 receptions, 94 yards, and a touchdown. Jalen Hurts did not throw an interception this week. He even scored 2 touchdowns this week. But he did have 2 fumbles, so he did still continue his turnover streak. So yeah, don't you worry. Just don't you worry. Cooper DeJean also had a fumble in this game, so not great from the Iowa grad. Saquon was held in check. Goddard let them in receiving, but yeah, none of the good recipes for an Eagles win were completed. And like I said, the Bucks jumped on these boys and didn't let go. They took this game over and then said it's over. It's done. It's done. Okay. NFC South, a lot of people have ragged on. I've ragged on, but you know what? Not looking too bad. Not looking too bad right now, and the Carolina Panthers are just looking worse. With Sam Darnold playing the way he is, with Baker Mayfield playing the way he's been playing, it's not good looks. It's not good looks. But speaking of the Panthers, let's talk about what they did. Yeah, they kept it close. All right, Andy Dalton, of course, facing his old team who came into Charlotte today in the Cincinnati Bengals, who absolutely positively needed the win. Okay, there is no team that needed this win potentially as bad as the Bengals did. Okay, even the Cowboys did not need a win this week as bad as the Bengals did. If they would have fallen 0-4 with a loss to the Carolina Panthers, who are an Andy Dalton masterclass away from once again being on the road to 0-17, we would have had to have some very uncomfortable conversations about what's going on in Cincinnati. The ones we're having in Jacksonville right now. But the Bengals do get it done. All right, they do come through. They get it done 34-24. Jamar Chase, welcome back. Chase Brown, though, was the star of the show. 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. Burrow had a better day, nothing too crazy. Honestly, was pretty comparable to Dalton overall. Dalton did, try to get them back in the game with it. Deontay Johnson at the end of the third. But it just was not to be. Couldn't get it going. Chuba goes over 100 yards, though. So, yeah, some positives from the Panthers. But the Bengals were the better team on this day. The Jaguars and the Texans, okay? Came down to the wire, but Dare was able to get it done from CJ Stroud, and the Jaguars are 0-4, which, it's not great. It's just not great. It's not great. I mean, Lawrence played a better game this week, but still not great. Still not a great one. ETN held in check, so Bigsby is the star this week after I cut him in fantasy naturally. But CJ Stroud goes 345 and 2 touchdowns. Nico Collins is currently the best receiver apparently in the league. He has 12 receptions, 151, and a touchdown, which means he is continuing to extend his lead of the receiving yardage lead here in the league. So, yeah, everybody wondering what was going to happen when Diggs gets there. I saw some people saying, you know what, Nico's still going to be that guy. And guess what? Nico Collins is still very much so the number one receiver out there in Houston. But we will see. The Texans are slowly and quietly 3-1. And looking like, once again, the class of that AFC South. I have no idea, and I mean absolutely no idea what's going on in Jacksonville, but it is not good. All right? It is not good. It is time for some very uncomfortable conversations. The Colts and the Steelers. AR5 gets knocked out of the game, so who do they turn to? Oh my goodness, just like the bat signal, it's Joe Flacco. It's Joe Flacco. And if it's Joe Flacco off the bench in a backup quarterback situation, it is a scary sight. Justin Fields played a great game, by the way. Played one of the best games I've seen Fields play, personally. He went for over 350 total and had 3 touchdowns. Some very, very good touchdowns late as well to keep them in this game. But it was not enough. Because like I said, as great as Fields was, as much as Fields looked like the Ohio State Fields, he was facing Joe Flacco in a backup situation. And you're just not going to win. You're just not going to win. Flacco off the bench, 16 for 26, 168 and 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor had a touchdown as well. Michael Pittman Jr. has 6 receptions, 133. And the Colts do get it done 27-24. All right, a very big win for them. Pulls them to 2-2 and, makes them, have greater ambitions than they probably should. But you know what? They will take the win. Pittsburgh no longer undefeated. But you will like the progress with Fields. He did not turn the ball over besides the fumble. So, yeah, some improvement. Pickens had 7 receptions, 113. But he did have a drop, a very costly drop in this game that, he's probably going to want to have back. Especially considering he has a little bit of that diva gene. But the Colts, I got to give credit where credit's due. They get it done, 27-24. Fair. And the Bears finally are 2-2, actually. They did win a game already, but it hasn't felt like it. That's how bad it's. I mean, it's not been bad, but it's been kind of rough. But that defense is still legit. All right, the Chicago defense is still very much so improved. The Rams are not a great team, however, but that defensive line had Matthew Stafford in hell.
Okay, Stafford was getting pressured all game long. He only got sacked 3 times, but the QB hits. Does anybody have a note? Yeah, 3 feels very. Oh, that's for the. Oh, of course, that's for the Rams. I need to see for the Bears. Yeah, no, 6. Gervon Dexter felt like he was in the backfield every single play. That offensive line did Stafford no favors in this game. And yeah, again, that defense, like I said, has gotten a lot better, looking very, very dangerous. DeAndre Swift had a beautiful rushing touchdown in this game. And Caleb finally found DJ Moore. So yeah, progress for the Bears. At the end of the day, they're 2-2. They're 2-2. They're winning games. They're beating bad teams. And you know what? That's the first step in a rebuild. Is when you start beating those teams that are supposed to be your peers, you're headed in the right direction. Of course, I think Caleb's going to be fine, but the Bears do get it done and take out LA.
All right, we're back. All right, post 4 o'clocks. Y'all know the drill. I don't know how to start this, guys. I really don't. Unfortunately, it appears I'm going to have to come to terms with the very unfortunate fact that it the Washington Commanders actually might be a good. Oh God, I can't even say it. The Washington Commanders might actually be a good team. It hurts. It really does. I mean, it's either the Commanders are good, they're 3-1, or the Arizona Cardinals are really, 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 really bad. 42-14 is crazy. On the road as well. On the road. What is going on with the Cardinals? Cliff Kingsbury came back and just was on smoke, apparently. On smoke. Jaden Daniels continues his Rookie of the Year campaign with another 2-touchdown game. Much more, still very efficient, by the way. 26 for 30, by the way. Highest completion percentage through 4 games in the history of the NFL for a rookie. So, yeah, he's playing well. He did have that interception, though, but still. Another factor, Brian Robinson also couldn't be contained in this game. He had 101 and a touchdown. It felt like every time he got the ball, he was just like falling forward, which is one of the greatest things you can have as a running back, is you have that tendency to somehow always fall forward. It felt like he was always getting, like, I don't know what the Cardinals linebacking corps was doing, but they were getting beat by B-Rob every single play. I mean, every single play. Brutal. Just brutal. Bobby Wagner thought he was back at Seattle. He had 11 tackles, QB hit, TFL, half sack. Jeremy Chin tackling everybody. He had 4 sacks at Kyler. It was just dominant. I mean, just completely dominant. Kyler was pretty much nullified. Now Connor went for 104 and a touchdown. Marv got in the box early on. But after that, that was it. I mean, that was it. The Cardinals just did not have it. Did not have it, and the Commanders just commanded, no pun intended, commanded this game. And yeah, they're staying dangerous. All right, that's the only thing I can say is they're staying dangerous. I don't like it. It's scary for me. It's spooky for me, but here we are. The team I thought was going to be perpetually in the cellar is 3-1. So we'll see, but, credit where credit's due. 49ers and the Patriots. 49ers get the win 30-13. I'm not going to lie. Besides Fred Warner, by the way, playing like Defensive Player of the Year, nothing really of note. Mason continues to produce, which it honestly just may be the system they have in San Fran. And yeah, they haven't missed. They didn't miss too much of a beat this week. Jacoby Brissett was not very good. Ramondre Stevenson continues to try to sell my fantasy team at all costs. 49ers get the win. Raiders took care of the Browns. Deshaun Watson played the best game, even though on paper it only says 24 for 32, under 200 yards. You're probably like, really? Old school Deshaun? This was a very good, for what it's been, of an almost not watched Deshaun Watson game. And it got taken away on a very interesting call, which I feel like, you know what, the NFL needed its Virginia Tech Miami. And this was it. This was it. I don't know how you, first off, very late flag. And then they called the block and I don't know. But they call that touchdown back, so Raiders able to hold on and get the win 20-16. But yeah, like I said, I don't know. I feel like the Browns may have got screwed a little bit with that one, but the Raiders will take what they can get at this point, and they will move to, what's that, 2-2? Yeah, 2-2. Browns still 1-3. And to end off, because we have 2 Monday night games tomorrow, the Kansas City Chiefs win 17-10 over the Chargers. Mahomes and Worthy linked up.
But Mahomes also threw another interception. I don't know what it is about regular season Mahomes, but it's like some games it's just like he's not necessarily he's still Pat, but he has these like moments of almost like pedestrian. I think it might just be the gunslinger in him where it's like he's gonna throw this one dumb pick throughout the game, like, and it's just gonna be like, "What are you doing?" And then he's gonna be normal Pat, and you're gonna find a way to win. That just seems to be the reoccurring tendency, especially his last like 2 to 3 years of his career. I feel like he's been in that kind of like status where he has these games where he's borderline mid, but somehow makes some magic happen. But yeah, he found Worthy for the first time for a 50-yarder. Not the first time he's thrown a touchdown to him, but the first long bomb. So we got that. Kelsey fought off the washed rumors with 7 receptions and 89 yards. However, the big news was on that interception by Pats, he went to go tackle and he took out Rashee Rice and in turn tore Rashee Rice's ACL. So yeah, not great. All right, the no good, very bad interception for the Chiefs, but they still get the win over the divisional foe. They go to 17-10. The Monday night games, for those wondering, the Titans and the Dolphins, which is terroristic, and the Lions and the Seahawks, which will be a little bit better, but I expect Detroit to win. But yeah, that Miami Titans game is gonna be god awful. I mean, that's just bad football. Thank God to the seven. I mean, that's one of them. You know, I was talking about the Panthers and the Giants play. Put that on Tubi on Wednesday. Titans Dolphins not too far off right now. But yeah, that, ladies and gentlemen, was the NFL. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the roundup. Yes, we have reached the roundup. Quick stuff. All right, quick stuff. Besides Lena, I think Alina Perez is her name, twerking with people in the UFC. Let's talk about baseball really quickly. Yes, Aaron Judge is not going to get to 60. In fact, he actually platinum sombreroed in the last game he'll play this year. He's not in the lineup today, so unfortunately, only 58 home runs. I know. Only 58 home runs. He only got 144 RBIs and hit like 322. Only got those numbers, so, you know, only 11 WAR. You know, we were so close to history, you know, and it's just so unfortunate that we have to settle for one of the best hitting seasons still of all time. You know, just it's so unfortunate for AJ. He just couldn't get to 60, but you know, he can cry in the 144 RBIs and obscene OPS he has, and the second MVP award he's going to win. So could be worse. Could be worse. The other best player in the world, the once in a lifetime player, as I said last week, Shohei Ohtani ends up winning the NL Triple Crown. Again, this makes absolutely no sense. I feel like he's playing his own Road to the Show. Like, and I honestly, I don't know if Road to the Show players even get as good as Ohtani. I mean, even some of your guys that are hitting 700 and breaking Bonds' record in 5 years, I might take Ohtani over them at this point. Because he's just, again, there's no more like words and adjectives I can use to describe him. We are just witnessing history. We are all witnesses. To quote Braun's like campaign, we are all witnesses with Shohei. He wins the NL Triple Crown over Reyes on the last game, literally the last game of the season for the Dodgers. So yeah, shout out to Shohei, absolute animal, 50-50, Triple Crown in his rehab year. Just no words. All right, no words. Let's go footy really quick. No Champions League, but we do have to talk about that boy Cole Palmer because he had 4, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 goals in the first half yesterday. 4. Again, it's starting to reach like solid levels of like how did they sell this man? I mean, I'm glad because City is overpowered as is, but how did they let this go? And Gareth Southgate, why is this man not just starting, like automatically starting? He is beyond, I'm not like one of the best English players. He's one of the best players in the world. This is one of the best players in the world at this point. This has been a year plus of this. He's at this point, Cole Palmer is one of the best I guess he's technically attacking mid is what we're calling Cole. He's one of the best attacking mids in the world. One of the best players in the world. Let's call it what he is. He's world class. He's one of the best in the game today. Cole Palmer, 4 goals. He's up to 6-6 so far in the Premier League, looking like he is going to continue. And honestly, probably should have won. Foden did have a great year, and Man City won the championship. But you can very much so argue that Cole should have won, Player of the Year last year. He's looking like he's going to give Haaland a run for his money this year. But we will see. But yeah, Cole Palmer still freezing. And that,
ladies and gentlemen, is it for episode 217. I hope you guys enjoyed. Without further ado, Ocho signing off.